So I borrowed a Dave again. How tall are you, Dave?
Right, about 6'2".
6'2", right? Go on, Dave. Let me know what you think.
Nice and white. Perfect size.
What do you think?
That is perfect. Easy to handle.
It's nippy, isn't it?
Very nippy. Yeah, we'll go again.
6'2".
6'2" and mugging it.
It's a cracking thing, isn't it?
Great bit of kit. Yeah, that is a great bit of kit.
Surprisingly nippy. Have you noticed there's only one fork on the front?
Yeah, yeah. Step through, easy to handle.
So how old's Paige?
Nice and light. Page is 15.
Well, the legal limit age to start riding an e-bike in the UK, 14 years old. So she can ride this on the road.
Perfect. Can take herself to school on it.
Yeah. Folds up into next to nothing, and inside there, there's a battery pack that you can remove to charge things from.
Right.
So,
Wow.
less than 900 quid.
That is a bargain.
Just over 8 with my discount code. Cracking thing, isn't it?
Do you like that, Kyla? Yeah.
Well, when you're 14, you can have one. 1, 2, 3 testing, 1, 2, 3 testing, 1, 2, 3 testing. You didn't think it was going to get away with the hill climb, did you? It's a nippy thing, and it's actually quite stable. And I like being on it. It's kind of cool. You know, check the brakes out at the bottom here. Yeah, they're fine. They're the same brakes that they put on all other Engwe bikes that these Logan copies that I like. But yeah, you can definitely feel the power in that battery. But that's down to the fact that this bike's so light. Doesn't weigh anything. You got the zero resistance on these tyres because, well, not a lot there to be resistant, is there? Let's see if it can do the hill climb. And we're off. I always say if it can't make it up here, it's not worth testing. So it's got to make it up here. I don't think we're going to have any problems with this. I'm in past 3, it goes past 1, 2 and 3, so we ain't got up to 5 on this. And currently in 4th gear. I do like the fact that they put a trigger shifter on here. I can't stand the tombstone thing, and you really don't want to be taking your hands off the handlebars anyway, so it's all in one place for you. I like that. As you know, this is where I test all my bikes for the hill climb. So far, so good. We haven't got to the really hilly bit yet, have we? And that's this bit. But yeah. You don't feel the bumps as much as I thought you would. I mean, there's no weight over that front wheel. But you don't feel anything. So yeah, I'm still in 4th gear, not changed up. Definitely not feeling any burn in my legs. And got this ready up roadworks on. Yeah, flying colours, cracking. So it is the Engwe Zip. Let's take a good look at it. Sixteen by 195 wheels and tyres, front and rear, 160 rotors, front and rear with hydraulic brakes. Now these are the same as they put on all their hydraulics at 160 they're pretty much Logan's. Steel frame. We've got a zoom suspension seat post, which I like. And there to the one-sided fork, which if you come around here, you can see it's only one-sided. We've got a telescopic folding stem, pretty much the same as you see on all the other bikes that fold really. Folding clamp there, chain ring there, round to the 7-speed Shimano there, derailleur. That's the main push down clamp for the seat post for folding. Again, it's adjustable up there. Front headlight. Like I said, these are those Logan copies that I like. They're really good. Have that 7-speed quick shift shifter. We have comfortable grips on both sides. We have a bell. We'll look at the display in a little bit more detail when we take it out for a ride. But it's a colour display. The writing on the frame there. Obviously they're spoked wheels to keep the weight down. There's one side of the magnet there. If we come around to this side, there's a steel plate there that it clamps to. It's actually quite good. I did mention when we were talking about this bike a while back about adding in some cam straps, but I don't think it needs them. I'm going to carry one, but that's just me. It just makes it easier to load in and out the car. Rechargeable rear light there. So we take a quick look at this display, and we got 3 levels of pass, 1, 2 and 3. That's all it goes up to. Change it from kilometers per hour up to miles per hour in the P settings. It's pretty bright like that actually, but yeah, that is the front light throw. And I've already showed you the rear light runs off of a rechargeable battery. It's not a brake light either. The seat's nice and comfy. Like I say, it sits on that zoom suspension post there. I will talk about that again a bit later. But like I say, it's steel. That's obviously there for rigidity, but it helps you when you fold the bike down. These are CST tyres, which are the tyres I wanted to use on my remodelling of my Engine Pro 3.0. I've got something similar, but they cost a fortune. There's a tyre tread there, road tyre tread. There's a clamp, adjustment clamp there. Again, you can adjust it up here to tilt back or forward, whatever you want it, the handlebars. So it's fully adjustable, fully adjustable. There's the bag there, it's quite spacious inside, it's not massive. And there's the battery there. Have a look in there, there's two USB-C ports. Turn the battery on and off. And it's got a little carrier handle there, and carry it separately, take it into work for charging. Or wherever. But yeah, all well thought out. Obviously that's the locking mechanism for the battery when it's on the bike. And there's a connection port there. And if you're not using the battery, because you can ride this without the battery, rubber bung there to cover the port, which I'll leave down so I'm about to put the battery back on. Yeah, it's fully adjustable. I'd say from 5 foot to about 6'2", 6'3". I'm 6 foot and there's plenty of space for me on this bike. And it's nice to see Engwe going with the hydraulic brakes on a small bike. A few years ago these had been mechanical. The pedals are removable, so you pop them out and they sit in that little port there and the bike's folded up. I do like these removable pedals, they pop out of there and then they lock into there. Can't lock them with one hand, but that's what they do. Like I said, it's all been really well thought out. That's how it looks on the bike when you're riding around. It's really inconspicuous, really. Cracking effort. Let's see if it rides as good as it looks. So we're heading up into town, taking a ride round. It's a bit damp today and it's due raining a bit, so if it rains, it rains. I'm not bothered about this bike in the rain. The IPX ratings on it are pretty good. Oddly, not the battery, IPS 5, but it's in that bag. And that bag, waterproof ripstop. Talk about that again a bit later on. But it's a cool little bag. You don't feel any bumps on this. You know, I expect it on the 26-inch commuter bikes that you don't feel any bumps because size of the wheel. But these are only 16-inch, and you'd expect, you know, a little bit more of, well, a little less absorption of the bumps. But it's fine. As I said the other day, I like being out on this. I've been out on it quite a bit. This is the second time I've had to start this video because of the weather changes. Plus it's my busiest time of the year, so continuity is a bit of a bitch. I don't feel big on this bike at all. You know, I thought my size might overpower the size of the bike, but no. The suspension seat post I've got up to its tightest point, obviously with my weight, and there's still a bit of absorption going on. I think it's moving about 1.5 inches, as with like when I had it on its loosest setting, it was moving about 3 inches, 2-3 inches. So it's doing its job properly there. I thought it might be like the cheap one they had on that bike that I called the Testicle Assassin, but it's just popped up when you just least expected it. It's very similar to the one on the E26 that I absolutely hated. Did exactly the same thing. And I think in my review I said I'd swap it out for a normal seat post, because those big 26-inch 4-inch tyres, you don't really need a rear shock with them. You're going to get all the shock absorption you need out of them tyres. Seems to hover along at around about 26 kilometers an hour quite easily. Yeah, a lot to like, but it's quite quick. You can feel the motor cutting out about 25, so I'm just probably putting that extra torque in with my legs. I'm in 7th gear coming uphill, and I'm not putting a lot of effort in. No issues. And regardless of it being a small bike with not much high speed, doesn't mean to say you shouldn't wear an helmet on it. Always wear an helmet. So the obvious comparison I made when me and Engwe were doing the consultation was the Brompton electric bike, and they're not cheap. So let's stop here. I'm at the green electrical junction there. Stop start and let's go. I actually pulled a wheel. So yeah, I'm in 3rd now. I'm just turning my legs here. I'm not putting in any effort. I'm on pass 3. It's got pass 1, 2 and 3. Doesn't go up to 5. And yeah, no issues. So I'm in 3rd gear. Might start off when the lights change. Don't forget the front shocks are lefty, and I used to own a lefty bike and I loved it, and Cannondale still make them, I believe. Not much rattling. I went over some bumps there, and the rattling's probably the crap I've got in that front bag, because there's loads in there. And you'll see why in a bit. But it's not just got the battery in, I'm carrying some stuff in there. Let's go a ride around town. So yeah, the bike itself, mechanically sound, it's solid. And I expect this to be far more nimble than the 20-inch tyres, obviously. I've not heard a peep at the motor. I know it's working, I can feel it. But yeah, look, really nimble. Really nimble. I kept getting offered these ones with the 12-inch wheels on, but max weight was beneath my weight, batteries were rubbish, and really I've never thought they were any good value for money, because I didn't think the longevity of them was going to be up to much. Let's see if we cut in here. Now they should automatically change for the bus. There we go, we can get in behind him. Let's check these tyres out. The rattling you can hear is the bus, not me. I'm having to brake because of the bus, but it's got a slant on here. Yeah, these are fine, look. Good grip. The road tyres, they're designed with the road in mind. Let's take it up here.
This feels strange and untrue, and I won't waste a minute without you. My bones ache, my skin feels cold, and I'm getting so tired and so old. The anger swells in my guts, and I won't feel these slices and cuts. I want so much to open your eyes, 'cause I need you to look into mine. Tell me that you'll open your eyes. 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 Get up, get out, get away from these liars, 'cause they don't.
Now, like
get
the
your
P20,
soul
I don't think this can
or
be
your
unlocked.
fire.
But you're only going to drain the battery. The battery size is exactly the same as what was on the P20, but actually slightly lighter. Unlike the P20, this one's actually under £5 in weight. It's just a nice sort of thing to be on. And you do not feel the bumps. I mean, I've not hit anything really hard with it, because you wouldn't. But I think a lot of that's down to the rigidity of the frame. Frame being steel, unlike the magnesium of late that they've been using, or the Chinesium on other bikes. And although it's not technically a step through, it might as well be, so it's got a lower step over point than some of the step throughs that I've ridden. You do the card thing, don't you? The phone.
Thank you.
Cheers, dude.
later.
No, I've got to get my bike off.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, love.
Thank you.
Cheers, dude.
Bus wankers!
I'd like to say it was a new John Lewis building, but it's not. It's been up a while now. It's a massive thing. Anyway, we're in Leeds after a 9-hour bus ride. Kidding. But it did go around the houses a bit. I think I got on the wrong bus. Gives you an idea of what I look like on the thing. I'll just show you. For example, I'm 6 foot, and that is the height of the bike that I'm using it at. There's quite a bit of leeway to come up a bit more there, so I'd say 6'2", 6'3", down to around about 5 foot. But yeah, that's what I'm riding it at. As you can see, there's no fork on this side. Yeah, cracking little bike. I'm having so much fun with this for a change, because I've ridden all the other bikes, aren't I, constantly, but it's just fun to be on something different for a change. No problems getting on the bus, and yeah, let's take it for a bit more of a ride. So I've taken you around here before on other bikes, down by Leeds Market at the moment. I'll tell you what, when I put my foot down on this thing, the front end lifts up. It's probably my weight balance, but you could possibly pop a wheelie on this. Coming out round past the corn exchange. Sit over there, look. Starting to spit rain a bit. Not unbothered. So as you all know, I'm about £240 with my pack on. It's actually got a bit more in the kit today, so I brought tools with me just in case. It's the first time I've really taken this bike on any real distance. So I've got a couple of bits in there, an extra photography kit as well. So the whole idea behind this bike is it's a last miler. You get the bus into the city or the train into the city, and you use this to get to the last 2 or 3 miles of work, saving you going on other buses, you know, or even places you need to get to where buses don't go. Plus, if you bring a car into Leeds, it costs a fortune to park it anywhere, and that's Leeds. God knows what it's like in London, which basically this bike's built for. This bike's built for London commuting. Or any city commuting, really. You know, it's designed for that suspension seat post is far better than I thought it was going to be. It flies around. You know, it'll do, I keep seeing 27 kilometres an hour on it. It's about 16.5, 17 mile an hour. I likes it.
When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown. When you've got worries, all the noise and the hurry seems to help, I know. Downtown, just listen to the music of the traffic in the city. Linger on the sidewalk where the neon signs are pretty. How can you lose? The lights are much brighter there. You can't forget all your troubles, forget all your cares. So go downtown. Things will be great when you're downtown. No finer place for sure. Downtown, everything's waiting for you. Downtown. Don't hang around and let your problems surround you. There are movie shows downtown. Maybe you know some little places to go to where they never close. Downtown, just listen to the rhythm of a gentle bossa nova. You'll be dancing with them too before the night is over. Happy again. The lights are much brighter there. You can forget all your troubles, forget all your cares. So go downtown, where all the lights are bright. Downtown, waiting for you tonight. Downtown, you're gonna be alright now. Downtown, and you may find somebody kind to help and understand you. Someone who is just like you and needs a gentle hand to guide them along. So maybe I'll see you there. We can forget all our troubles, forget all our cares. So go.
As far as getting from A to B is concerned, this takes you to C as well. It's just such a well thought out bike. Really is. They've actually thought about this. You know, it's obvious. The obvious thing is when we were doing the consultation between Engwe and some of the what they call influencers, but people like me, and what we'd like to see, what it competes with, and this obviously competes with the Brompton. That's what it's been designed for. It takes them their marketplace. And I don't blame them, because when it was coming to the new e-bike law coming out, which the Conservatives were after, taking us up to, I think it was 500 watt, wasn't it? They objected to it. One of the objections was that they couldn't catch up with Chinese manufacturers because, and they thought that was unfair. It's about as unfair as people keep telling me that, oh, you shouldn't be allowed to have a throttle, it's unfair. It's not a race, and I don't see why it's unfair. As I pointed out before, in comparison with a throttle, getting up to 15.5 mile an hour on multiple bikes, I've been able to get up there quicker at pedalling. So it's not a massive advantage. What it is it gives people a chance who are less able to move ahead. You know, to have some sort of viable transport. One of the guys that buys some of the bikes that I've reviewed off me, he sells, I hope he don't mind me saying that, he sells electric wheelchairs and stuff, but if he finds them a little bit more mobile, he'll try and sell them an e-bike. But imagine if they had a working throttle. You know, if you had a working throttle, you know, this can get drained on battery quite quickly. It's one of the advantages of this torque sensor and the fact that you have to pedal. but you don't feel like you're pedalling. And if you were to work up there at the top of there, where the hospital is, and the university is, and you got off on the bus, this is a hell of a walk. You don't want to be walking up here, it's too long, it's too far. You know, you can see me growing over girls and stuff like this and bumps, and it just, nothing. There's no noise. It seems to absorb everything. And I think that's down to the fact that it's steel and it's light. I do like this bike, and there is a lot to like about it. And it's totally different to anything I've really ridden before except the P20. The P20, it reminds me of the P20 except it's a little lighter. And obviously the P20 could be unlocked. That was one of its advantages, that you could get that thing up to a nifty 20 mile an hour. But you know, this thing, when you put a bit of go into it, it's no slouch. Up by the Merrion Centre. I guess I won't be. Oh, I can do. Get on the pavement. So I think I'm a little bit, even without my kit bag on, the extra weight in it, I'm over the weight limit of this bike. But it seems to be handling everything fine with me on. I mean, like I said, I keep going over bumps and it just doesn't jar, it doesn't make a loud noise, it don't clunk. I ideally need to swap this battery out because it's flashing red. So we'll go find somewhere to have a drink, and I could charge this actually, I'll show you why, but I'd rather put a fresh battery in. I don't want to be around all day. Yeah, like I said, going over bumps like that, you don't feel them. You know, 16B, less than 2-inch tyres. I think maybe the spokes are taking some of that in as well. Plus the max tyre pressure's 40 PSI and I've got them on about 37 even with my weight. Just adds a little bit of suspension in. So yeah, let's go get a drink. Been sat here about half an hour charging my phone off the battery. It's got 2 ports there, so I could probably charge both cameras. Having a drink, and the bike is, where are we? Over there, look. A couple of crackheads have come over to have a look at it, but they clocked me, so I didn't seem that interested. But it's no good to them anyway, because the battery's here, and so's the pedals, and so's the saddle. It just takes a few minutes to take off. It takes a few minutes to get the bike locked up, and I'm using the lock that came with the 12th anniversary kit. It's good enough. Yeah, half an hour. Centre of Leeds. It's no good to anyone without a saddle. It's no good to anybody without a battery. And it's definitely no good for pedalling off if there's no pedals on it. So, yeah, I'm pleased with that. I'm going to finish my drink and I'm going to carry on mooching around. Well, it's still here. Let's put it back together and get off. do like the fact that this thing's easy to step on. It's just step on, step off. Currently got no pass on. I'm on pass 0, just riding around with no electric power. It's fine. Bump it up onto one, I'll feel it kick in straight away. And that's just pass 1. It's using less power, bobbling away. This one's pass 2. Pass 2. Drop a cog. This is pass 2, and I'm not really putting the effort in. The torque sensor just takes what it needs, doesn't it? So that's pass 2. And now we're in pass 3. Let's put some pressure into them pedals, and wow, we're away. And if I put a bit of effort in, there you go, 25, 26 kilometers an hour, and I'm freewheeling uphill. I'm surprised the way it deals with bumps. It doesn't seem to be bothered by lumps and bumps in the road. I expected it to be more fragile than it is, and it's not. I'm pottering around it probably 8-9 mile an hour uphill. No real effort being put in. More bumps. I mean, look at all this here, it's all bumps. Nothing. In fact, I got to the point where I'm looking for them. Look. Like I said, 40 PSI is the top limit of air pressure in the tyres, and I've got about 38. You could probably run them a bit lower. Look how nasty this is. Straight over it, nothing. And that's down to that front end being so light. There's no weight in it, so there's no jarring experience. It's down all over there, look. This is where they had the screaming and shouting at the weekend. I would, like I said, I would have loved to have gone into London to film this. But the things I wanted to take the bike round, you just can't go to. It's just a mess. It's not worth the headache for me. I mean, if you live in London, you know, 3 or 4 miles out from where you work, this is the perfect thing. It really is. It's perfect. Not, like I said, it's not London, and really wouldn't want to be going to Birmingham or Manchester when I've got Leeds on my doorstep. You know, of all the things you can use this bike for, like going to the shops, going to the supermarket, going to the pub, it's perfect for that. But I say it's no slouch either. It's just nippy. You know, 27 coming out. I'm going to hit the brakes. The brakes are really good. Look, they will stop you dead on a penny because the bike don't weigh anything. It's just a fab little bike. Let's go off the curb. See, not bothered. There's no weight to that front end of the bike. It's fab. Tempted to ride it up here. Next single to Wakefield, please.
Yeah, of course. Any rail cards?
Pardon?
Any rail cards?
No.
£5.30, look.
Can you tell me which platform it's going from?
Westgate, you want it in?
Yeah.
Your bike?
Yeah.
Just trying to... I think you can make it to 12 here for quarter, so...
Right, that's fine.
Yeah, that's
Thank you
your
very
next
much.
one.
Let's back us through back to Wakefield Westgate via the train. No problems getting it on the train or the bus, which is nice. Let's just take it up here and we'll go around the loop. Enjoyed today. Nothing's been hard, it's just been, you know, getting out on a mini adventure. And we all know I like those. And that's what this thing's built for. Getting out and about, going on those mini adventures. It's ideally built for that. It's a cracking little thing. Really is a cracking little thing. Like I said, it's nippy too. The brakes are good as well. I do like the brakes on this. They're, to be honest, look, they're overkill. I like the way you can make it as comfortable as you want for yourself. It fits me well. I didn't think it fit my weight well, but it does. You know, I'm really pushing the limits of this bike. So, if you're under my weight, or my weight, we know it's fine. You see what I mean about these bumps? It's not bothered by them at all. I'm actually finding myself looking for them now.
I don't even know why. My girlfriend, she's at the end, she is starting to cry. Let me go on, like I blister in the sun. Let me go on, big hands, I know you're the one.
Like I said, there's a couple of niggles I've got with it. Any niggles? Not even niggles. Just really mean-spirited stuff. That's all I can come up with. As I keep telling everyone, when you get one of these forms from Engwe, fill it in. They're asking you what bike you want for a reason, so they know what they need to build. And in this case, we've got it right again. We've recently had the Engwe EP2 3.0 boost, the Engine Pro 3.0 boost, The bike I really love, and people just don't seem to understand, but because it's a commuter bike, that P275 SE. This reminds me of a mini version of that, the way it takes off. It's just fun to be on. My favourite bike is the L20 3.0 Pro, and it just shows how far Engwe have come, that bike, and how nippy that bike is, and what the torque it's got in it. I mean, it's only got, I think it's 40 Newton meters of torque, but it weighs half that bike. Weighs next to nothing. Like I say, you want to put some effort in, you know, currently up to 25, 26, and a lot of effort I'm putting in. I just like to glide around, take it all in. With the state of the world right now, with the cost of diesel and petrol, throwing this in the back of your car isn't a bad idea. It isn't. If you live 4 miles from work, you have to park up every day, cost of parking, cost of fuel. It's the sort of thing I take on a parking ride. It's built for inner city stuff, London, that there London. It's built for that. Manchester, Leeds, Glasgow. This is the bike you want. And I loved it. Let's talk about them niggles, those mean-spirited niggles, and the breakdown. So let's have a look. The Engwe 12th anniversary box that you'll get free with this bike, and I think it's going out free with some other bikes as well. I think they're just sending them out. So let's open it up. Let's have a look in here. So you get a free lock. This is the lock I used in Leeds. You can change the code on it. Yes, mine's 4306. Don't mind telling you. And you get some nice aluminium mirrors. That's a connecting kit there. It's nicely put together. It really is. And if we come back to the original box, pop this out. And alright, let's open it up. And in here, there's like a Lego model of the Engwe L20 3.0 Pro. So when I get a spare few months, I'll put that together. So that's coming along free. It's a nice little package actually. Just for nothing, isn't it? All the best things are free. So yeah, that's the Engwe Zip. About as in-depth as I could possibly go with it. And what did I think of it? Well, I think I mentioned most of it as I was riding around on it. It sort of links in with Engwe's design language, that they try and design something similar but different. And they've done different things before, the X range of Engwe bikes, and looking at the P20 was something slightly different. And their new bikes, the EP2 3.0 boost and the Engwe engine 3.0 boost, both made of magnesium, so it's a different frame language as well. And going on to the L20 3.0 Pro, my favourite e-bike, they won a design award, and it looks like nothing else out there, but it just looks classic. The more you ride around on it, the more people comment on it, and they all say the sort of similar things. Oh, that's a lovely looking bike. And I used to prefer the black one, but now I've been riding around on the champagne one a bit more. It's just, yeah, I like the bike. Anyway, getting back to the Zip, I'm romanticising. I love the way it folds up. I love the way it's so nimble. I love that it's got 16-inch wheels and road tyres. They're very nimble. You have to ride the bike to understand what I mean. And the way it attacks bumps in the road, because there's no weight over that front wheel really, apart from the battery, which weighs £5, it just takes them in their stride. And anything you got left over going over the back end, well, you know, it's taken up by that Zoom seat post. And that worked better than I thought it was going to do, especially at my weight. I was pushing the limits of the weight limit of this bike when I was out riding it. So yeah, it's not your normal rider going, I weigh 240 pounds, actually a little bit more, let's say 243, 244 pounds this time around, to have more kit with me on the back of that little bike. As you saw at the beginning with Dave, Dave's 6'2", I'm 6 foot, and we both easily managed to get this bike to fit us. I'd probably say going up to 6'3" now. 5 foot, it's lowest rate really, because your pedal stroke's going to be a bit funny after that. But yeah, did the hill climb easily. I was toying with not doing the hill climb because it's not that sort of bike, but I do have this thing where if it won't make the hill climb, it's not worth reviewing, like I said in the initial video. So yeah, massive surprises all round really. The saddle's comfortable, that makes a change. And the frame's nice and stiff because it's steel, so you know, it can absorb quite a lot through that seat post. So yeah, I'm just pretty, I'm not going to say it's a game changer. Everybody says game changer when they review things, and it's just not a game changer. And when we were doing a consultation between Engwe and their reviewers and influencers and stuff, Brompton was brought up. I brought Brompton up as being like their main competition for this. And yeah, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be Brompton. But I think that's not being fair on the Zip, really, or even on Engwe, because it's its own bike. And it doesn't have that Brompton wanker thing going on. I think Brompton's have an image problem, probably brought on mainly by Jeremy Vine, but it does have an image problem. And Brompton's being ridden around on by people like Jeremy Vine, or who else? Prince Harry, or James May even. As much as I like James May, he's still a bit of a tosser, isn't he? And yeah, I think they've got, it reminds me of that image problem that Burberry had when the Burberry baseball caps got caught by the chavs, and they never really recovered from that, did they? They spent years trying to get away from it. So yeah, it's a different thing, this bike. I do like it. There's a lot to like about it. The folding's just fabulous. Again, it's not game changing, it's different, but it's not game changing. The weight of the bike's not game changing, but it's probably the lightest bike that they've ever made. I don't know what that T14 is. So the only one Engwe bike that I've not reviewed. It might be a bit lighter, I don't know. But it's the only bike I haven't reviewed because of my size. I'm often offered these 12-inch battery things by DVU or DYU or whatever, and I won't review them because they're just shite. They're terrible batteries, they're 12-inch wheels. Who the fuck rides around on e-bikes that have got 12-inch wheels on? What's the point? Or is it 14-inch? It just doesn't seem to work for me. They're ugly as shit anyway. So yeah, probably being a bit critical, but it's the reason I haven't reviewed any of them. And as with other bikes that I'm offered to review, the thing with reviewing for other companies is they want final cut. And as I keep pointing out, I don't let them have final cut. Otherwise, I'm not in the same position I am with Engwe, where I get to say what I want. They want final review and they want final cut. Again, repeated this in many a video. If that's the case, it's not a review, is it? It's an advertisement. And I don't do that. I want to film how I want to film. I want to improve my photography, how I can improve it. I want to do it all my way. And Engwe probably gets to see these releases later than you do, because this is getting released today, which is Saturday, and they probably won't see it till Monday. So you all get to see it first. They never, well, they did. This is the one time where they've asked to see it before I release it. And I think it was down to the worry that I didn't understand the bike. If anybody understands these bikes, it's me. As most of you know that's followed me for a long time, I build these things. I mess about with these things all the time. If anybody understands it, is somebody with a bit of an engineering background, and that's me. So yeah, they were told that wasn't going to be the case, and they backed down. They always do. They're very good with me. I have to admit, Engwe are very good with me. I'm a moody shit at the best of times, so I don't back down. I stand my ground. And as you know, if you followed me long enough, it all started off on dodgy ground when my Engine Pro, the original one, the frame snapped, and I wasn't the only one. But things have changed since then, and like I said, I get to have a lot of input, and where people think that Engwe have bought me. It's more the other way around, because I can do a lot of damage to Engwe. I won't, because they let me do what I want to do. If there's ever an issue with a bike, I'll bring it up. If there's ever a bike I don't like, the X26 being a prime example, that thing nearly fucking killed me. I'll bring it up. It's my, what I get to say is what I want to say, and that makes it a review. If I don't get to say what I want to say, that gets to make it an advertisement, and I don't do those. Anyway, the pros, let's have a look at it. They fold up well. It makes minimal space. As you can see, I've got it on the bus, the train. I locked it up in the centre of Leeds, and that's another thing that probably people aren't bringing up, and I think Engwe have missed, is the fact that once you've locked it up and you've taken the pedals off, the battery off, and the saddle off, it's not worth nicking. It's probably a bigger deterrent than a big lock. I left it in the centre of Leeds, just off where McDonald's is, and like I said, only a couple of crackheads I'd come over, had a look at it. So I was looking at it, because you would, wouldn't you? You'd look around, see who's watching the bike, and it's all me, and they're just pissed off. So yeah, you know, you can lock this thing up and not necessarily worry about it too much, because there's nothing to steal. You've got a decent lock on there. I used the Engwe lock that came in the 12th anniversary kit, and yeah, you can change the code on this, and yes, mine's 4306. Don't worry, it's getting changed now, I've told you. But it's a, you know, it's a decent enough lock. It's strong. It's not something you're going to pull apart quite easily. But yeah, for a freebie, it's lovely. Let's talk about this bag. This bag's kind of cool. In there, there's a longer strap for you to actually put it over your shoulder strap. On the inside, in here, there's you can see a zip there, but there's also, you can see the zip there, which is the top zip. There's another zip there, so there's a little pocket inside there. And where the battery goes in there, I don't know if this will show up on camera, there's a flap that comes down. So you can put that over the top and then fill it up with stuff on top. I think you can probably get 3 or 4 cans of pop and 6 pork pies in here. Fab. So that's that. You can also carry the charger in there, which is next to nothing. It's got a USB-A port on there as well, which you can charge from if you've still got some old kit. But USB-C charging for that battery, that's kind of cool. And the fact that you can charge things from that battery wherever you are, again, kind of cool. It's a cool thing. It really is a cool thing, this battery. Comes with a little carry strap on it, indicators there. It's a cool little thing. 2 charge ports, or you use it for charging with the charger. That, like I said, I'll keep that in the bag with it. Plenty of room in that bag. Less than £5 this battery weighs. Less than £5, which is lighter than the P20 battery. So what didn't I like? I did keep saying there's a couple of niggles, and they're mean, really. They're mean things to be saying about the bike. That's pretty good. I have to be honest with you, it's a pretty good bike. I say pretty good, it's a very good bike. It's really well thought out. The parts on it aren't cheap. I thought that Zoom seat post would be cheap, but it's not. It actually works for my weight on it. Like I said, pushing the limits of the weight of this bike. It's pretty cool, really. You saw, it goes up to 6'2" easily. I was, you know, with Dave on at the beginning, he's 6'2". Pointing out again the fact that if you're over 14, you can use this to go to school and back. Also, I think one of the things that Engwe missed is the fact that if you remove the battery and you remove the pedals and you remove the saddle and you just lock it up with that lock, it's not worth stealing. Really ain't worth stealing. There's not a lot to steal apart from the steel. It's not worth sort of going to prison for stealing some steel, is it? A lot of the parts won't fit other bikes. Those 16-inch wheels won't fit other bikes. It's pointless stealing it. So it's pretty much made it not unstealable, but not worth stealing, which is probably an e-bike's best anti-theft. If it's not worth stealing, people will leave it alone. There are some mean shits out there that will try and damage it because they can't steal it, but most of the time, you know, it's just something that I thought was really cool, especially when I was actually, no word of a lie, I was gagging for a drink, and my battery on my camera was just about dying. Although I got 2 cameras and 2 extra batteries, but because the port that I was using to record the audio, which was on the DJI Mic 3, I was drawing the power from the camera, so it was discharging a lot faster than it normally does. But you know, we're now in stereo. Welcome to the 70s. So yeah, there's a lot to like about this bike. I do like the colour. I wish there was another colour. I wish they did it in red as well. Red would look really cool. Especially the red that they had on the Engwe Engine X when that came out. I love that red. I thought that red looked really cool. I can imagine it looking really cool on the Zip as well. So yeah. Right, on to what I didn't like. Or those micro niggles. Not too keen on the pedals. They're not wide enough for me. I've got wide feet. I harp on about it in a lot of my videos. But crank size is a universal size, so you can actually remove those and get wider ones. I've actually got some in the garage, but I can't find them. I bought them for another bike project. I've got some red and silver ones, but I just couldn't find them. I would have swapped them out to show you what I mean. But yeah, I'd swap them out for people with wider feet. I'm not too keen on that bike stand. It seems a bit fragile, but it never blew over once. It never fell over once. It was fine. It did the job. And I suppose that in reality, I wouldn't really worry about that until anything ever happened to it, if it ever did. It's just one of those little niggles for me. The rear light, having to charge it, a bit annoying, but I get it. You know, where you can have a cable running up to have a brake light, you can't really. There's other bike rear lights options out there that are brighter and sort of like have indicators, and I'll use the Unit 1 ones that I've got on, that you might have seen on that trailer recently. They're the same. That's the same thing. They've got indicators built in as well that run with your helmet light. They're kind of cool. So those are my micro niggles: the stand and the pedals, and one more thing. I had the same thing happen with the magnetic clamp on the P20, but not necessarily with this, although it might happen, which was the magnet would pop away from the steel plate. And it actually did happen on this when I was at the bus station. But I did take these. A couple of these are Velcro straps that I got off of Amazon. That's the ones I got. There you go. Yeah, I strapped the bike up a couple of times in a couple of positions with this, and it just keeps the bike from flexing. It's just basically to make the bike more solid when you move it around. Because any movement makes it off balance when you're lifting stuff up and down. And in reality, it's still nearly 20 kilos. I weighed the bike independently. I've got some scales now that I use that they use for fishing to weigh fish on, and the bike's within 100 grams. It's within 100 grams. The bike's within 100 grams with the battery on and off. So there's pretty much no differential in the weight of the battery in the bag, and the bike's just within 100 grams of what they say on the site. So pretty accurate. That's all I can think of to niggle about, really. There's nothing else I can moan about. The big surprise for me is how it handled bumps. Just a doddle. It's like they weren't there, and that's down to the fact that front end's so light. So if you're thinking of buying a bike, use my code, my projects, gets you 10% off. And at the moment, this bike is reduced from $999 to $899. I don't know if that's legal in the UK because it hasn't been up for $999. I don't know how it works with sale prices in the UK anymore. But you used to have it on for 4 months. But I don't care. It's $899. It's about 815 quid with my discount code. It's not bad, is it? Plus you get the Engwe 12th anniversary box, plus these little bits here. You're getting some extras with it as well. It's pretty much a bargain. Like I said, one of the things that stands out for me is the fact that if you're over 14, you can use this to get schooling back. You can charge your iPad on the way to school. Whatever you want to do, you charge your phone, whatever. It's just an handy little device that you've got built into the bike, that battery. That battery's a step up. Again, I'm not going to use the word game changer. One of the other things is that I've got this thing about having to fit yourself to a bike, which I have with the M20. I tried to fit myself to it. I spent a fortune trying to get myself to fit that bike and not the other way around. I have this thing about the bike fitting you, and there's so much that you can move around on this bike and adjust to make it fit you. You can make it the perfect fit for you. And there's a lot to be said about that. There's a lot of bikes out there where You can't, especially these fixed seat motorcycle style e-bikes. They're just a sod. You have to fit yourself to that bike. This is exactly the opposite of that. Loved it. I'm not going to give it marks out of 10 anymore. I keep pushing myself into a corner when I do that, but it's up there at the top with the best of Engwe. It's just a good bike, and it makes a lot of sense, especially nowadays where, you know, the price of diesel, or the price of diesel, that truck of mine driving around in that, it's just, I can see the pound notes coming out of the tank. And you think they've opened the Straits of Hormuz, but again, they're closed down again today. So again, price of barrel of oil's going up, and that'll end up back on everything you buy, everything from diesel to food. So we don't know what's coming next. I think everybody should have an e-bike. I think everybody should have an e-bike, not just for the mental health benefits, but for the fact that it might become one of your main sources of transport for a bit. You know, there's nothing certain in this country, especially now. I'm not going to get into the political side of it again. I've done that once and got a lot of shit for it. But we all know what I mean. It's dire. The way things are going are dire. And again, going back to the mental health benefits of e-bikes, you just get to get out your head now and again and just go off on little adventures. And that's what I love about e-bikes. You just get to forget everything and just go out and have a day out and just do your thing. Go out and do your thing. You come back and you feel refreshed for it. I do. And I think I've spoken to a few people that bought e-bikes off me, and it's just like, yeah, I get it. It just takes me out of my own space for a bit. I think that's what a lot of us need nowadays. And that's it. Again, my discount code will be in the description. It works worldwide for the .com site, the EU site and the UK site, the FR site, the DE site, so whichever country you're in whatever Engwe website you're looking at. My projects, this on the screen here, it's down in the description, pays for me to have some Guinness. I don't waste the money, it goes on Guinness, goes on licensing for the music, goes on kit like this camera, goes on kit that I buy to film like my Ace Pro 2s and stuff like that. None of it's cheap. So it all goes towards that, and it also goes towards the time that I lose, which I should be working 16-hour days at the moment. I'm absolutely fucking knackered. It's my busiest time of year, and I'm out billing, seeing clients and doing this in between. This is why this is late. I did do a video saying that I'll get my own work, which is pretty much my excuse. I'm just starved of time. Anyway, subscribe, like, whatever else you can do. It all helps with the YouTube algorithm, helps me push my YouTube page out there. I do put a lot of effort into these videos, as you know. Nobody does them longer than me. Well, I don't think they do. And nobody goes into as much detail on these bikes as I do. And I know a lot of you have been waiting for this review before you bought one. And these are my thoughts. And that's it. Have a lovely weekend, everyone.